Hey everyone, welcome. So how's it going? It's been a while. Um, I am a daddy these days, right? And so I'm kind of busy, like crazy busy. Like I guess many people are. And if you want to transcend it and actually have all the time in the world, it all comes from within. And I'm working on it. You'll be happy to know. So, but nonetheless, it has been a bit of a challenge to like keep the podcast consistent. So, but with that said, I'm kind of thinking, I'm gonna just, f for whatever it's worth, my plan is keep them smaller. I've got a few different plans, like interviews and stuff as well. I want to do, but yeah, just kind of just do whatever, just little bits of my thoughts. If you're interested, you're very welcome to listen. And I hope, yeah, maybe it helps give you some higher quality thoughts than what is, floating around the rest of our insane society, where a lot of people with megaphones and massive audiences kind of are putting out really kind of insane or kind of boring or kind of harmful uh, ideas, So yeah, not too much competition, I'd say. So um, I trust that this will reach someone who wants to hear it. But yeah, anyway, all right. So what are we going to talk about? I want to talk about, I think, so sometimes ideas come to my head. I'm like, oh yeah, that would be cool to put out something on that, like into the ether and the internet. And this is the idea that like wearing a mask obscures your vision. So like literally, like say the COVID thing, whatever, you're wearing a mask and it's kind of blocking, I guess, just below you, you know? And so, or people who have the mask on, it's like glasses. You kind of, even though in theory your eyes aren't blocked, they kind of are blocked, and there's some sort of, it's not a totally pure open interaction with your environment. Um, but also like I was thinking like people who are wearing masks, like they apparently didn't get the memo that actually there was never any evidence that masks are good for viruses. Some people would even say viruses don't spread like that, like bacteria spreads and things, but viruses are your body's response to clean up toxicity. So toxicity can spread in the environment, or the sudden temperature change, bodies aren't ready, everyone gets a virus or something. If you're sick enough, people get whatever. I won't go into depth, but that Tom Barnett guy had this video like, "Can you catch a virus?" So I was just like watching some of his stuff recently. He was talking about that, but so anyway, the COVID thing, a lot of people, there's still a few, not many, but you see a few people walking around with masks these days, and it's kind of crazy because it's like a sign like you didn't understand that that was like a psyop, and the governments wanted more power and whatever, and the pharmaceutical corporations wanted more money. Um, and oh, is that a crazy idea? Okay, what's the other explanation? So I mean, realistically, like it is what it is. Um, but yeah, so it's interesting that I was looking at these people like, oh, okay, your vision is somehow obscured spiritually, and you got this mask on. So it's kind of interesting. But like, and so but then I kind of thought of that like on a deeper level, and this is what I want to talk about now. Um, it's basically like the idea of how wearing a mask blocks your vision. And so in general, say if I'm not being authentic, if I am pretending to be something or somebody that I'm not, then that's mental resources which are going towards projecting this fiction. I'm calm when I'm actually a bit, anxious or whatever. Um, or I'm a big bad dude when actually I'm like this gentle kind of creature who just doesn't want people to notice and he's afraid he might get in trouble. Um, yeah, I believe, yeah, climate change and go Ukraine and, you know, um, yeah, trans pride and whatever, people who are just kind of trying to fit in with what the mainstream is kind of pushing. But actually inside maybe they're like, "Eesh, yeah, like, I kind of don't really feel very strongly about these things. I actually wonder if they make any sense. But all my friends are into it, and I was criticized once or twice when I question things. All right, I'll go along with it. Whatever it is, you're faking, right? And to do that, one problem is you have to project this, and so that's part of your brain. Say for me, sometimes I'll get awkward, which is crazy, totally insane. But just to be honest, uh, I'll be like, I don't know, or it would be, yeah, like say I notice someone like, oh, some even like I'll catch crazy thoughts and then they disappear. Like I pay attention to it and it's like, oh, you got me, and it goes away. But then, like a week later or a day later or an hour later, it could come again. And I noticed that, so it's about mindfulness, It's like don't judge yourself if you've got crazy things going on in your mind. Like the more aware you become, the more crazy stuff you'll start noticing. And in fact, things which are really tiny, because you've been on the path a while, you clear out the bigger stuff, and then smaller stuff starts to become more like seem bigger, like, and it matters more. You're like, I've been doing this for 10 years and still feel things. So, it's all relative. But but yeah, I have a bunch of things I'm still working on, of course. And yeah, so I will notice like, oh, I don't know, whatever it is, this someone nearby me. I won't say what kind of person or whatever, but let's say there's some sort of person, and then I notice my brain going like, oh, I'm kind of doing like, oh, I'm a character in a movie, and I'm thinking about how I appear, and I'm kind of posing, I'm creating a picture. And so I'm projecting an image there. And then oh, that's interesting. Why am I doing that? Or another, to impress someone, right? Or another situation could be, yeah, there's some tough guys, and I want to, and for practical purposes, sometimes it is a good idea to project an image to protect yourself from danger, like, animals which make themselves look bigger. But ideally, you're just already grounded enough in yourself. And you're like, yeah, I know my red line. If someone tried to cause trouble, I'm not going to be like a slave to them. Like, I'll do my best to, make them regret that. And hey, leave me alone, you know, defend myself, But so hopefully you can be peaceful and have good energy, and then a certain look in the eye that says, hey, man, you can't bully me, And usually, it's not a soft target. Okay, avoid. Anyway, but maybe you are a bit of a soft target, you're a bit worried, and then it could be a good idea in some situations to project an image. But nonetheless, let's say that's another situation you might be putting it on. And the third one, yeah, like where I say, yeah, if you're anxious and you want to look confident, and you put on, your whatever, you're at work and the boss is there, and you're, oh, hey, hey, boss, you're projecting an image, right? In all these situations, your mental real estate is used up by whatever you're doing to try to create this impression in others. So there's less bandwidth, mental bandwidth or mental space to focus on observing others and seeing what's actually going on. For example, are they really a tough guy? Are they really dangerous? Are they really thinking about me at all? Whatever. You know, and so that's one thing that like it's just taking up space in your mind, which could otherwise be devoted to understanding what's going on around you and who is around you, and yourself, understanding yourself and who you are and what you want to be. And so there's that, and I feel like there was an other element there. What was that? Yes, you can get lost in inauthenticity, right? And so then you start like the compulsive liar who has to keep spinning new webs of lies to cover up the old ones. If you kind of normalize that kind of thing of wearing a mask, then you probably justify it to yourself. And you can quickly get into this thing of self-deception where you don't realize you're doing it. And you're actually wearing a mask with your own self. You look at yourself in the mirror and you don't realize there's a mask. You're wearing a mask for your own self, even projecting an image to your own self. And so let us take off the masks and reveal whoever we are. And in so doing, not only is it more relaxing and easy, you're lazy? Great news. Be authentic and you can be lazier. It's less work than trying to pretend to be someone you think other people want you to be. Um, and so it's kind of more relaxing, and we'll have more energy and more awareness. Um, but also, yeah, ultimately, it's that's how we grow together. It's we teach each other, and say you like, um, yeah, there's certain things where I've been open about what I believe, and I have this podcast, and I'll put things out there, and sometimes people are like, "Hey, Jamie, you've gone crazy," or or like you've got bad ideas or whatever. And I don't know, maybe they're right. I don't think they're right, but um, I wouldn't pretend to understand everything. I'm sure I could go off path sometimes in some ways, but I'm open to that possibility. So I think it makes it much less likely. Whereas a lot of other people seem to never even consider the possibility they're off the path. Usually, people that will tell you you've gone wild, you're crazy, they never question themselves. Usually, it seems. But anyway, um, but this yeah, by being honest, being dropping the masks, we can really have conversations and help each other see different ways of living. And oh, okay, you're different. This is who you are. And yeah, and you notice a lot of the people who during the COVID fiasco didn't wear the masks. They just refused. We're like, it's not like the most educated people. Usually, it was like the least educated people, the lowest, you know, kind of socioeconomic level kind of people. And I think part of that was that they like could sense, they're used to sensing energy, maybe for self-protection in bad neighborhoods, but also just like it's more of the culture. There's less thinking, less education. I'm not saying these people are idiots or anything at all. Some of them are very intelligent. Um, but it's less, intellectualized and there's more street awareness, kind of like being in the moment. And, that's kind of valued still. There's a bit of like it's almost like the roughness of the edge of the world, that's still present more in the lower levels of the social structure. Um, Kind of has a healthy effect of like a gym of like working out people's psyche so they stay kind of sharper and they're more intuitive a little bit usually. Not always, some of them are way off, but anyway, so there's that. Like they could sense, oh, this is all a psyop, this is, billionaires trying to take over the planet or something through, the Great Reset and whatever it is. Um, but there was also this thing I think of uh well yeah, but they didn't wear the masks, right? Yeah, yeah, and so I think there's also this thing of just authenticity that like they're like, yeah, I am who I am, and you want me to wear a mask? Well, I think on some level a lot of people like that are probably like, no, like I am who I am, you know, and I don't need to pretend otherwise. So there's some thoughts for you. Hope that's useful. What do you think? Bring back old mate from, it's been a while since he was on a podcast. Ramses. How we doing, Ramses? Good, Jamie. Life is eternal. Everything's fine. Great. It's great news. All right. So much love. Mwah, and talk to you soon.